Hidden by the clouds, there is a world of floating islands where magical creatures attend a magic school. In ERIANTYS, the goal of the game is to build more towers than your opponents on the islands in the sky. Let's learn how to play a two-player game. Place the 12 island tiles in a circle and Mother Nature pawn on any tile. Place 2 students of each color in the bag. Randomly draw students from the bag and place one onto each island, starting with the island next to Mother Nature and proceeding clockwise. Don't put any student where Mother Nature is or onto the opposite island tile. Put all the remaining students in the bag. And place 2 cloud tiles and the professor pawns at the center of the table. The cloud tiles should show this face in a two-player game. Each player receives a school board with 8 towers of a single color, black or white, and 10 assistant cards in their hand. Each player draws 7 students from the bag and places them at the entrance of their school. The first player is randomly determined. Each round is divided in planning phase and action phase. In the planning phase, the first player draws 3 students from the bag and puts them on a cloud tile, then does the same for the second cloud tile. Then each player, in turn order, plays 1 assistant card face up from their hand onto their own discard pile. You cannot play the same assistant already played by another player unless it is your only option. In the action phase, each player performs these 3 steps in order, starting from the player who played the lowest value assistant card and proceeding in ascending order. Move 3 students, move Mother Nature, choose a cloud tile. First, choose 3 students at your entrance and place them either on an island or into your dining room. You can choose any combination of those options, for instance 1 student on an island and 2 in the dining room. If you choose the dining room, place the student in the leftmost empty space of its color. Then check how many students of that color you have in your dining room. If you have more than your opponent, take the professor pawn of that color and put it on your board. If you are tied, don't take the professor pawn. If you choose to put a student on an island, pick an island of your choice to increase the value of the influence of that color on the island. The second step is moving Mother Nature. You can move her any number of islands clockwise, up to the value shown on the assistant card you played. If Mother Nature ends the movement on an island without a tower, the player with the most influence will place one there. To check the influence, each player calculates the number of students matching the colors of the professors they control. If you have more influence than your opponent, place one of your towers there. If the influence is tied, no tower is built. If Mother Nature ends the movement on an island with a tower, recalculate the influence and replace the tower if a new player now has more influence. This time, each tower counts as 1 additional influence for the owner. The replaced towers return to their owner's school. After placing or replacing a tower, check the 2 adjacent islands. If there is a tower of the same color, the islands get unified. Now, a group of islands counts as 1 single island for all game purposes. A group of islands obviously has more than 1 tower. In future turns, when you have to replace a tower, replace all the towers instead. At the end of the action phase, take 3 new students from 1 available cloud tile and put them at your entrance. A new round begins. The first player is the player who played the lowest numbered assistant card on the previous round. The game ends when one of these conditions is met. When a player builds their last tower, the game ends immediately. That player is the winner. When 3 or less groups of islands remain on the table, the game ends immediately. The player who has built the most towers is the winner. When the last student is drawn from the bag, or a player runs out of assistant cards, the game ends at the end of the current round. The player who has built the most towers is the winner. In case of a tie, the player who controls the most professors wins. When playing with 3 players, use these 3 cloud tiles and always refill them with 4 students each. Each player starts with 6 towers and 9 students on the school entrance. When playing with 4 players, divide yourself in 2 teams. Use these 4 cloud tiles. Don't count the students in your teammate's dining room when checking if you can take a professor pawn. Sum up the influence of the whole team when Mother Nature lands on an island. For advanced games, add 3 character cards face up on the table during setup. Give each player 1 coin at the beginning of the game. You can earn more coins when you cover a coin space in your dining room. At any time during your turn, pay the cost of the character card to activate its ability. The character's cost increases by 1 coin each time it is used. You are now ready to play ERIANTYS.